Hey there, it's First Alert Meteorologist Isaac Williams updating you on the forecast this Wednesday evening. We've got some storms out there across North Georgia. We'll take you to radar, but we're looking ahead to a higher coverage of storms tomorrow and Friday. Still looking at two First Alert weather days tomorrow and Friday as well, with the chances for heavier activity to come into north and central Georgia. Could be a little bit more impactful. We've definitely seen some heavy rain and storms out there today. Just the coverage not quite as to the extent as what we're expecting for your Thursday as well as Friday. But some showers and storms definitely will be with us here for the next few hours, eventually tapering closer to midnight. We'll wake up with a mixture of clouds and sunshine tomorrow at 77 degrees. 89 tomorrow. Some of those storms could be locally heavy. We even have a small threat for a strong to even severe storm tomorrow as well. The rain coverage about 60% tomorrow. And we're looking at about a 40 to 50% chance of showers and storms on Friday. But tomorrow here is a level 1 out of 4 risk of flash flooding for the entire north and central part of Georgia. You can see a slightly better threat for heavy rain and flooding over into the Carolinas, but we are in a threat for flooding. We're also in that risk for severe weather, basically for areas east of the metro. So for I-75 and points east into the Carolinas, you can see Augusta through the Midlands of South Carolina into the Piedmont of North Carolina, a level 2 out of 5 risk of severe weather. So that's for tomorrow. And you can see here for the north and central Georgia there, again, it's mainly for areas east of the metro. But we still have plenty of storms out there this evening, and a few more are actually flaring up inside the perimeter or very close to it. A little radar tour for you this afternoon and into this evening. Activity is mainly focused along the north of Interstate 20 so far, but we'll start you up into the northeast part of the state, so areas near Dahlonega seeing some heavy rain and storms right now. And again, these are not moving very quickly. These are kind of affecting areas a little south of Gainesville on 985 there, and then farther southward into far northern Gwinnett County. This is way north of Lawrenceville. Alpharetta and Johns Creek, those areas are dry for the time being. Cherokee County starting to dry out. You had some heavier showers and storms earlier today. We're seeing some more of this activity back to the west. So in Carroll County, closer to the interstate, some heavier showers and storms there, but no doubt the strongest storm, at least in this radar view, is over Cleburne County, Alabama. This is just north of Heflin, just north of the interstate there. Anniston also getting very heavy rain and storms in East Alabama. And again, this little complex of storms may cross over the border and reach portions of Haralson or Carroll counties in the next 30 minutes to an hour. But again, the forward speed of these are very slow. We're not really looking at much more than about 10-mile-per-hour forward speeds on some of these storms, which is giving them the opportunity to produce extremely heavy rainfall. Thankfully, though, we really don't have quite the charged-up atmosphere for any sort of big severe concerns today, but we will see the chance that a few of those heavier storms in Alabama maybe to make their way across the line into western Georgia in the next hour. I mentioned a few storms just inside the perimeter here. Looks like we have one just west of Buckhead and Midtown here that may move over the connector in the next 30 minutes. Thankfully, those are isolated. You can see another one there popping up close to Chamblee. And so we could see a few more of these very, very localized downpours in the next couple of hours. Metro Atlanta has largely not seen much rain today, and we probably won't see a huge amount going forward into the rest of the evening, but we could see a few of these smaller but intense downpours that last maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and then they either move away or rain themselves out, but we don't have the environment tonight to support long-lasting big rain and storms, which is, of course, some good news. And then back to the west, again, some storms continue even as far west as Birmingham. Really not thinking those are going to last as they move across the border into western Georgia. But we will see. You can also see on the edge of the screen there a couple of storms just to the east of Athens, Georgia. So we've had a little bit of a busier day today. This is part of a bigger, more active pattern in the next couple of days. We're seeing some storms here from the Carolinas up into the nation's capital, into the mid-Atlantic, and this is all in advance of a slow-moving cold front you can see there on the screen between St. Louis and Memphis along the Ohio Valley, or river, I should say, and that's going to be kind of the driving force for some of our heavier rain and storm action tomorrow and Friday, but that front may move enough past us for the weekend to drop the rain coverage just a little bit. That is something that we will, of course, follow closely. Here's a look at Futurecast for tomorrow. Again, scattered to locally numerous showers and storms flaring up around 3 o'clock. And again, these will be maybe a little faster moving than what we see today, but we still have that flooding concern, and we still have the possibility at one or two of those getting strong enough to promote or to produce a thunderstorm warning or two with gusty winds of 40 to 60 miles per hour. This is not something that's going to be widespread, though. There's a reason that we're just in a level 1 out of 5 risk tomorrow for severe weather. The environment is not set up to support big storms tomorrow, which is good news. 7 o'clock, we're still dealing with some lingering showers and storms out there, maybe as late as 9 p.m. Anytime we get a front in July, we always have maybe storms last a little bit later than your typical summer day. And then on Friday, we'll start off with a mix of sun and clouds, and then through the day Friday, the latest run of this model is actually flaring up a little bit more in the way of storm activity kind of along and south of Interstate 20. So we may see the Friday setup sort of from Atlanta southward for the best chance of storms. So that's something that we'll be keeping track of. We still have a first alert weather day for Friday as we kind of fine tune exactly where the heaviest activity will set up for Friday. We've got lots of stuff going on this weekend and even into next week. And so weather obviously very important there, but maybe by Friday evening at 9 p.m., we are almost fully dry across the region after maybe a busy afternoon for some on Friday. But no doubt we do still expect busier, stormier afternoons tomorrow as well as Friday before the weekend hopefully starts to quiet down just a bit. In fact, here is the 7-day forecast. So we've got the rain chance right now just 20%. We may have to up it again. One of the models that I looked at before starting the stream did trend a little wetter for the weekend, so we're still kind of sifting through things there. We may have to up the rain chance a little bit, but hopefully we can keep things really isolated through the weekend. And into next week, though, we are still seeing signs, though, at some higher storm chances coming back by about Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. That's something that we'll be watching closely. But no doubt the most active time here in the 7-day forecast is on the front end, that Thursday and Friday time frame tomorrow, first alert weather days. Here's a look at the estimated rain over the last 5 days across the nation, and I've highlighted just a couple of states in here. Now notice Georgia not highlighted here because we haven't seen much of anything recently in terms of active weather, which is obviously really good. Now, obviously, Kerrville, Texas is sort of the center stage around the terrible events that happened on the July 4th weekend. But just yesterday, on Tuesday, Ruidoso, New Mexico, had heavy rain that caused flash flooding. That they're prone to this happening, but it actually occurred near a burn scar that was from a fire in 2024. But basically, a burn scar is just charred ground that does not allow the rain and the water to penetrate into the ground and absorb, so it basically becomes instant runoff, and that's what kind of happened yesterday in New Mexico. Same thing in Chicago, not a burn scar, but just the urban sprawl of Chicago, just like we deal with here in Atlanta. They had some very slow-moving storms last night just north of the city that produced 5 or 6 inches of rain near Grant Park, I believe, that obviously caused a lot of issues very quickly. And then over into North Carolina, that stripe of heavier red and purple, that's actually from Chantal's moisture from the weekend when we had a tropical storm slip through the Carolinas. So you're seeing the different ways flooding can happen. So obviously in Kerrville, Texas, it was slow-moving rain that turned into river flooding. In New Mexico, it was due to kind of a burn scar. Chicago is just the urban sprawl with slow-moving storms, and then North Carolina has the tropical nature, and that's actually the reason that we had the busiest 24-hour period in Atlanta. So I looked up the top three 24-hour rain periods in Atlanta, and the most it's ever rained in the climate period is 6.68 inches of rain. That was back in October of 1995, and that was due to the tropics. So we see the tropical influence here even in North Georgia. Hurricane Opal kind of trekked through the southeast and produced over 6 inches of rain in just 24 hours at Hartsfield-Jackson back in the mid-90s in October. And the others there, you can see 5.35 was from 48, in 1956 and September, 5.3 inches there of rain. But the good news is that with all this tropical talk, we have no tropical issues in the next 7 days. The Hurricane Center still has not flagged any issues in the next 5 to 7 days. Next name on the list is Dexter. We'll be keeping tabs, of course. July still fairly quiet in terms of tropical activity historically, but going into the next couple months, we will almost for sure see some additional development there. So I want to get you back to the 7-day forecast one more time. 2 first alert weather days tomorrow, and then hopefully drying things out just a bit for this coming weekend before we heat up just a bit more. 95 degrees by next Monday.
Stay up to date on your latest weather from the largest team of meteorologists in the Southeast. Download the First Alert Weather app for hour-by-hour forecasts and join us every weekday at 11:30 a.m. on ANF+. You can also text weather to the number on your screen, and we'll send a link directly to your cell phone.